Hello and welcome to Topical Top 10s here on the Football 365 show. I'm Mark Smith, I'm here with Matt Stead. Last week, the top 10 was sort of quite left field. It was the top 10 most surprising hat-trick scorers in Premier League history. This week, a bit more straight down the middle, more meat and potatoes, no mucking about. What is it this week, please, Matt?
This week's top 10 is the top 10 Premier League players of the season so far. So we've got no
Lovely.
this week.
No, don't spoil it. Good solid topic this week. I like it. If you enjoy the show, don't forget you can like and subscribe and also press the notification bell so you don't miss any more shows going forward. This is Topical Top 10s here on the Football 365 show. Right then, Steady. Number 10, Jamie Vardy.
Jamie Vardy, indeed. Jamie Vardy, he's been around for a few years now. He's still knocking on. 33 now, and he's scored 12 goals as a 33-year-old, which is 10 off the current record held by Alan Shearer.
Is that right?
I'm sure Vardy will be hunting down now. Yeah, so he's got I think it's 11 games he's got left until he turns 34. Obviously, he scored 6 in 5 games this season, so he's got a chance of getting what I'm sure would be the proudest record of his entire career.
Yeah, unbelievable, isn't he? I mean, he doesn't seem to be slowing down either. I mean, in terms of literal pace, physical pace, he doesn't seem to be like. I swear he's a yard quicker than he was at sort of 28.
It's bizarre. I think a lot of it is down to Rodgers' management. I think he's kind of making him time his runs a bit better. He's preserving his energy. He doesn't run the channels as much, Vardy, now.
Yeah.
So he's literally just making those runs off the last defender, and he's probably more effective than he's ever been, to be honest.
Yeah, and he started unbelievably. Yeah, so you know what? I'll give you that one. Yeah, Jamie Vardy at number 10. That's a good one. Number 9, someone who I didn't think we would be mentioning here. If you'd asked me at the start of the season, no chance. But yeah, maybe it's fine. Number 9, we got Patrick Bamford.
Yeah, he's become a bit of a mainstay of these F365 shows. But,
Absolutely.
Bamford, we've gone from Vardy, who scored 1 Premier League goal before he turned 28. Bamford scored 1 Premier League goal before he turned 27. So, I mean, he's going to win the Premier League title and the Golden Boot and score 100 goals, is basically what we're saying there.
Minimum. Absolute bare minimum. But we mentioned this, didn't we, on the unlikely hat-trick scorers, but Bamford seems to be. He's the product of playing for a manager who completely believes in him and who is happy to, I mean, not build the system around him per se, but certainly have him as an integral part of that system.
Yeah, it's clearly crucial to it, and he's had, I think this is his 4th or 5th Premier League club, and a few of his other managers. I know there was an incident kind of with Sean Dyche, where Dyche had a go at Bamford's upbringing and said he'd kind of had everything handed to him, where it's nothing like the actual case, and Bielsa's kind of...
Well, he went to my school, Bamford, so I completely disagree with that.
Well, there you go. Yeah, that's it. But yeah, Bielsa just kind of... He's just seen him as a player rather than the individual, and he's kind of focused in on that.
And that's what makes him a great man manager. Number 8, we've got Dendoncker at Wolves.
Leandro Dendoncker, yeah, he's probably not going to be as heralded as a lot of the other players on this list, but he missed the West Ham defeat, which is quite important, and then he didn't start the Man City game either. So every game he started for Wolves this season, they've either won or drawn. They're still yet to be beaten with Dendoncker in there.
Yeah, Dendoncker's someone who, with a name like that, you expect him to be a flair player going forward. And actually, he does the non-glamorous stuff and just gets through a lot of work every game.
Yeah, he's incredibly effective. I think he fits Nuno's system perfectly, in that we kind of see Wolves' midfield as just Ruben Neves and João Moutinho, whereas actually I think Dendoncker's probably the most important part of that midfield now. He's clearly the most effective of that three.
Yeah, I agree. Number 7, Mo Salah.
Mo Salah, yeah, I honestly think he's one of the most underappreciated players in the Premier League, if not the entire world, in terms of his record, the kind of numbers that he produces every single season for Liverpool now, and he's still basically... The one criticism of him is that he's greedy, which is not a criticism of a top-level footballer.
We always say we want that. You want that from your striker. Exactly. You want to be selfish. I don't want you to ignore all your teammates, but I want you to have that streak in you, which is I want as many goals as I possibly can get.
Yeah, precisely. And there's a healthy level of competition between him. I think it's Sadio Mane that he's kind of always put into a rivalry with, where you can actually see. I mean, there's incidents within games where they do kind of lose their patience with each other when there's an incident where he could have passed or something like that. But that's just any old game, any old teammate, and it is just that healthy level of competition that drives both of them on, really.
Absolutely. Number 6, we've got Sonny at Spurs.
Yeah, he's an unbelievable player, isn't he, Son? He's kind of kicked on more than ever this season with another player who will be further down this list, who's kind of supplying the bullets for him. But he's
Eric Dyer, is it?
Yes, it's Eric Dyer. Yeah, Musa Sissoko's come back. But for Son, he really doesn't seem to have any sort of weakness for Spurs. He's a fast player, he's a strong player, skillful player, and he's very versatile as well. So he's perfect for Mourinho, I think.
He's also one of the few players who, if they're going through one-on-one, I just think, well, you're definitely going to score. I never, ever doubt it. There's a difference between him and someone like Raheem Sterling, who is such a smart footballer, Sterling. He gets into such great positions, but I never feel completely sure that he's going to do the job as he goes through, despite his scoring record, which is unbelievable. But someone like Son, or his partner, who we'll mention later, I just feel very confident.
Yeah, they do have similar scoring records, don't they, Son and Sterling? But for Son, he does imbue you with that kind of confidence that he knows what he's doing. He's got that control in terms of what's happening.
Definitely. Number 5, one of my favourite players in the league at the minute, Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
He's brilliant, isn't he, Calvert-Lewin? He's a bit of a throwback, it's by no means a negative, by no means an insult. He's clearly been coached quite closely by Duncan Ferguson. And it's really paid off this season. He's been absolutely excellent this season. He's obviously didn't quite manage to score against Southampton, which again, it's another spoiler. There'll be another player further down this list who cancelled him out on that game. But for the rest of the season, he's been absolutely brilliant.
He can do it all as well. I mean, I thought last season when Ancelotti came in and he started playing him more regularly, I thought, well, here's a player who can... You can occupy defenders, he can lead a line, he's great in the air, he's a good finisher. But actually he can drop in and link up play quite nicely, and I think we saw that for England as well. So I think he's absolutely deserving of a place in this list. Number 4, you just gave it away a little bit. We've got Vestergaard.
Yannick Vestergaard, he's similar to Dendoncker in terms of people might not expect him to come up on this kind of list. I mean, so early in the season, they're the only 2 really defensive players we've got on this, which says a lot about how the season's gone so far.
Tariq Lamptey should have been here, mate.
Yeah, there'll be a few complaints about Lamptey. I think there'll be a couple of Man United fans who won't be happy about lack of inclusion for them, but they can sod off as far as I'm concerned.
Talk more about Vestergaard, though, please, instead of slagging off United fans.
Man United should sign Vestergaard. He's just an excellent player. He dropped off a little bit under Hasenhüttl, and I think he sums up his Southampton reign in terms of a player who he was inherited by him. He wasn't signed by Hasenhüttl, but he's kicked on massively under him, and he's had his spells where he's been out of the team or he's been out of form, but he's come back in and he's been absolutely excellent so far this season.
Yeah, I agree. Number 3, a surprising one, Burnley's Jay Rodriguez.
I think there might be a mistake there, Mark. I think you need to read up on those notes, mate.
Okay. So who is it then?
We've gone for James Rodriguez, thankfully.
Of course we have.
Yeah,
of course we have. He's been unbelievable. I've got to say, when he came in, I was one of the people who thought, can he handle it? It's going to be it's an intense league. He's not played a lot of football over the last couple of seasons, and he's not played a lot of good football for probably longer than that. But he's come in and looked like he's playing in slippers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was the West Brom game. Everton won 4-2, where he completed 0 sprints for the entire match, which is, if that's not what you want from a Premier League footballer, then you're in the wrong game, basically.
I just love everything about him. I mean, I still have doubts whether he'll be doing it for deep into the season, but I'm absolutely thrilled to be proved wrong on that, because I do like watching him. Number 2, of course, he's got to make this list. Little Jackie Grealish.
Indeed, the man with the smallest shin pads in the world. It's absolutely
and
incredible.
The biggest calves.
Yes, massive calves, which is probably why he's got small shin pads. He can't fit around anywhere near the leg. But yeah, for Grealish, he's proved a lot of people wrong, I think, and I'd probably include myself in that, because when he kind of emerged at Villa, there was all this hype around him, and he was clearly a very skillful player, but there were a few doubts around him still. I think he was linked with the move to Spurs pretty much every summer, went down with Villa obviously into the Championship, and he's dragged them back up, and he's been absolutely incredible. And I think it's when you watch him for a full match, if you watch the highlights, I don't think you see enough of Grealish. but where if you watch the full match, you see that absolutely everything that Villa do goes through him. And they've surrounded him with better players now. They've surrounded him with kind of Barkley, players who can kind of shoulder some of that creative burden. And he's absolutely excelled as a result of that, I think.
I could do entire shows on Jack Grealish. I am such a huge fan of him, and it's good to see, because he didn't get the move to United that a lot of people talked about. I don't think necessarily that was always going to happen anyway, but he's just come out firing this season, and it seems to be every time he puts in a good performance, it feels like he's he's given a little nod there to Gareth Southgate, and hopefully, for the sake of England, he'll be playing for him more regularly soon. Right, number 1 on our top 10 this week. We've gone for Harry Kane. Who else could it be?
It had to be, didn't it? It had to be Harry Kane. I know you'd tick Tariq Lamptey, I'm sure, but yeah, it's got to be Harry Kane. He's been far and away the best player so far this season. I think he's already broken his record for most Premier League assists in a campaign. He's even scored a few goals on the back of that as well. He's even doing defending. He's even clearing shots off the line and going up the other end and creating a chance for Son.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing everything. He's doing absolutely everything. And I don't know whether this is something that is in sort of the long-term plan for him. He's had a few injuries, so maybe it is more suitable that it will drop deeper and deeper. But he's still probably the best finisher in the country. And it looks like that relationship with Son is just absolutely unbelievable. I can't get my head around the sort of telepathy they've got between each other.
Well, like you say, he's definitely one of the best finishers in the country, if not the best. But he's also probably one of the better playmakers. So if you could,
absolutely,
if you could channel those two skills into one footballer, then he's the perfect Jose Mourinho footballer, I think.
He's got more assists already this season than either Paul Scholes or Xabi Alonso had in a full season at any point in their careers. So that's what he's doing on the playmaking side of things. Unbelievable. Excellent list this week, Matt Stead. I don't always say that, but this week, excellent list. Yeah, good stuff. If you agree with any of that, disagree with any of that, you can get in touch with us. Email us. It's the editor@football365.com. I've been Mark Smith. That's been Matt Stead. This has been Topical Top 10s here on the Football 365 show.